Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Language Education, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Misteri Rejeki Murtiningsih, SPD, MED, Ph.D. The Honorable Chairman of the International Conference on Environment and Smart Education, Muhammad Naim Madjid, SS, M.I.S, Ph.D. The honorable speakers and respected participants. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah alladhi kana bi'ibadihi khabiran basira. تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا وجعل فيها سراجا وقمرا منيرا. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الذي بعثه بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الحق بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. اللهم صل عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second International Conference on Environment and Smart Education. This event is organized online with more than 60 participants joining virtually from different places and countries. I am Makfur Afnan Fauzi, a student of Arabic Language Education Department, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, as the host of the second International Conference on Environment and Smart Education. On behalf of the organizers, we are very grateful to be in good health and have the opportunity to gather here to discuss various important issues in the global trend of environment and smart education. The attendees allow us as your host to read our program line up for you. First, the recitation of the Holy Quran. Second, singing the national anthems Indonesia Raya, Samsuria, and March Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Third, opening and speeches, and fourth, keynote lectures from the experts, and last agenda is the parallel session and closing. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, the recitation of the Holy Quran will be read by Brother Harif Hidayat Shah, a student of Arabic Language Education, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. The time is yours.
Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وهو الله لا إله إلا هو له الحمد في الأولى والآخرة وله الحكم وإليه ترجعون. قل أرأيتم إن جعل الله عليكم الليل سرمدا إلى يوم القيامة قل أرأيتم إن جعل الله عليكم الليل سرمدا إلى يوم القيامة من إله غير الله يأتيكم بضياء أفلا تسمعون. قل أرأيتم إن جعل الله عليكم النهار سرمدا إلى يوم القيامة من إله غير الله يأتيكم بليل تسكنون فيه أفلا تبصرون. ومن رحمته ومن رحمته جعل لكم الليل والنهار لتسكنوا فيه ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون ويوم يناديهم فيقول أين شركائي الذين كنتم تزعمون ونزعنا من كل أمة شهيدا فقلنا هاتوا برهانكم فعلموا أن الحق لله وضل عنهم ما كانوا يفترون صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين. جزاكم الله خيرا. May the blessings of the Quran get our heads, refine our thoughts, and bring purpose to every moment we share in this conference. And the next program is singing the national anthem Indonesia Raya, Samsuria, and Mars Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta.
Sang Surya tetap bersinar.
Next are the opening speeches. The first speech is from Muhammad Naim Madjid, SS, M.I.S, Ph.D, the chairman of the second ICEnSE 2025, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Nabiyyina Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi. Wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yaumiddin amma ba'd. All praises to Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and all praises to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to his family and his companions. Peace be upon to you and his mercy and his blessing. First of all, I would like to thank Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta for assigning and supporting me in leading and steering this second international conference on environment and smart education, ICEnSE 2025. The Honorable our Rector, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Bapak Profesor Dr. Ahmad Nurmandi, MSc, to our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Salah Basalamah from University of Ottawa, Canada, Associate Professor Dr. Zawawi bin Ismail from University of Malaya, Malaysia. Thank you for your kindness in sharing your insight regarding our theme today. Jazakumullah khairan. The Honorable, the Dean of Faculty of Language Education, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Ibu Sri Rejeki Murtiningsih, SPD, M.I.D, Ph.D. On behalf of my colleagues in Department of Arabic Language Education, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, and all faculty members of Faculty of Languages Education, I would like to thank and extend genuine appreciation to my team and all those involved in making this event a success. Thank you. And particular thanks to all participants, international delegation from Malaysia, University Malaya, UPM, IIUM, University Islam Selangor, University Islam Sultan Zainal Abidin, and Sunway University, from Brunei, College Urusan Perguruan Agama, Brunei Darussalam, from Philippines, Mindanao State University, Elegant Institute Technology, from Vietnam, Vietnam National University, from India, Galgutias University, from Turkey, Bursa Uludak University, and also from Iraq, University of Mosul. And of course, our participants from Indonesia, universities in Indonesia, UGM, UAD, UMS, UNIDA, UNS, UM Malang, BINUS, UNJ, UNIPMA, Udayana University, Undiknas, Denpasar, UPY, Unimuda Sorong, Institut Agama Islam Kristen Palangkaraya, Universitas Muhammadiyah Riau, and UHAMKA. Thank you so much for your meaningful participation in this conference, and also the participants or audience whose contribution and expected lively deliberation will hopefully make this scholarly gathering a remarkable success. The theme of our conference is Creating Innovative Global Society Based on Sustainable Environment and Smart Education. And there's 6 scopes. By combining both elements, environment and smart education, with the 6 scopes, the term suggests that an innovative global society can be created by fostering environmental sustainability alongside smart education system that equips individuals with the knowledge and skills needed to address complex global issues and contribute positively to society. At the end, may Allah bless our efforts and will be calculated in this world and hereafter, which is nothing remain except the fear of Allah and the will doing. Thank you. Nasrun minallah wa fathun qarib wa basyiril mu'minin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for the speech, Dr. Muhammad Naim Madjid. Next speech from Ms. Rezeki Murtiningsih, SPD, M.Ed, Ph.D. the Dean of the Language Education Faculty of Universitas Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta. Time and place are welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everybody. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the International Conference on Environment and Smart Education 2025. On behalf of our institution, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, and in particular the Faculty of Language Education, I extend my warmest greetings to all participants from around the world who have gathered here today to share knowledge, foster collaborations, and develop innovative solutions for a better future. This year, our theme is creating innovative global society based on sustainable environment and smart education. This reflects our collective responsibility to address pressing global challenges such as climate change, pollutions, and environmental degradation through innovative and sustainable approaches. At the same time, we recognize the vital role of smart education, leveraging technology and cutting-edge pedagogical practices to prepare our future generations to thrive in a rapidly changing world. As we all know that the future of our planet depends on how effectively we integrate environmental sustainability into all aspects of society, including education, industry, and community life. The goals we set today will influence generations to come, and therefore, innovations, creativity, and commitment are crucial. The conference provides a unique platform for scholars, practitioners, policymakers, and students to exchange ideas, showcase research, and build partnerships that will drive positive changes. I believe that through open dialogue and shared expertise, we will discover new pathways for fostering an inclusive, sustainable, and intelligent society. Lastly, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizing committee, speakers, and all participants who have contributed to making this event possible. Let us seize this opportunity to inspire and be inspired, to challenge and be challenged, and as we work together toward a brighter, greener, and smarter world. Thank you, and I wish you all a successful and fruitful conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for the speech by Ms. Rezeki Murtiningsih. And now, proceed to the main lectures of this conference, presentations from our keynote speakers. The sessions will be moderated by Dr. Muhammad Naim Madjid, a lecturer of Arabic Language Education Department, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. And the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so this is our main lecture or by the great agenda. So let us begin the session, of course, with a commitment to learning and transformation. And we have two keynote speakers. As I mentioned before, the first keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Salah Basalamah from University of Ottawa. And without further ado, I would like to invite our first keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Salah Basalamah. from University of Ottawa, Canada. And his title of presentation is The Emancipated Classroom, Rethinking Education in the Era of AI. Professor Dr. Salah Basalamah. He received a PhD translation and translation study option from University de Montreal, Canada. It master also intellectual property law and master in lexicology, multilingual terminology and translation. And he has teaching experiences 2016 until now is associate professor in School of Translation and Interpretation, University of Ottawa. Also had a visiting professor in Translation and Interpreting Institute, HBKU Qatar. And also the visiting professor in the Department of Translation Studies in UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Professor Dr. Salah Basalamah has a lot of publication in international journal, and also this academic and professional work. Is the head of Graduate Studies Committee, University of Ottawa, Montreal, Dublin, and so many occupation also in graduate study work. So I don't want to waste our time. So without further ado, I would like to invite again our first keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Salah Basalamah, to deliver his presentation. The title is The Emancipated Classroom, Rethinking Education in the Era of AI. Time is yours. This is maybe around 35 minutes, Prof.
Thank you very much, Dr. Naim, Muhammad Naim, for this invitation. I will, without further ado, as you said, I will proceed to my presentation. I am going to share it with you right now. Share my screen. I hope you are able to see it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, Prof.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the title of my presentation, where I'm going to explore some radical educational philosophy and try to implement it to some the sustainable and equitable learning in the global south, and especially the era of AI. So I'm going to delve into the notion of transformational education and try to give a new perspective on learning and knowledge dissemination. But you will be surprised that the source of this renewed vision, if you like, on education is inspired primarily, but not only, from the 19th century in France. And then I will, inshallah, bring you back to some of more Islamic heritage in terms of innovation in Islamic in education in general. So I'm going to approach this revolutionary approach to education, where we're going to explore innovative pedagogical methods fostering self-directed learning and genuine intellectual engagement. And I'm going to delve into that character, whose name is Joseph Jacotot in France, who lived in the aftermath of the French Revolution in the early 19th century. where he developed the concept of intellectual emancipation, where the master guides and the student's capacity for independent learning is paramount. So the person or the philosopher in the 20th century who kind of brought to the fore this character, this forgotten character of Jacques Cousteau, is the French philosopher Jacques Rancière, who put it in a philosophical framework where he wanted us to understand how he interprets Jacques Cousteau's ideas, advocating for the equal intelligence and all challenging hierarchical education structures, where we're going to examine these philosophies' practical applications in the global South and by addressing educational inequalities and resource constraints in order to promote accessible and equitable learning. And at the by the end of the first 3/4, if you like, of my presentation, I'm going to navigate the notion of artificial intelligence era and how education, is situated. And if we innovate education, how do we do that in the era of AI? And finally, I'm going to bring up, as I told you, some references in terms of the Islamic heritage and tradition. So this is our agenda. To start with, I'm going to give this general perspective on Rancière's educational revolution that he is talking about the core concepts of intellectual emancipation and critique of traditional education, and then give some universal, the broad lines of the universal teaching method that he's promoting through the principle of Jacques Cousteau's revolutionary teaching approach. And then we're going to look at some practical applications of these principles. And finally, I'm going to address the AI challenges and how education can take place within that framework, but still, arguing in favor of an genuine intellectual autonomy. And finally, a peek in the Islamic tradition, where we can provide a quick overview of some example drawn from the Muslim heritage on autonomy in education and learning. So let's start with our first axis, if you like, and this is about Joseph Jacques Cousteau. So in 1818, Joseph Jacques Cousteau, a French academic in exile, discovered something extraordinary. He could teach what he himself doesn't know. And that's why the title of Rancière's book was The Ignorant Schoolmaster. The Ignorant Schoolmaster. And Jacques Cousteau worked with Flemish students. He was exiled, if you'd like, from France, and he went to the Netherlands, where he was supposed to teach French literature to Flemish students. But he didn't speak any Flemish, and the students didn't speak any French. So how did he do that? He instructed them to intensely read a bilingual edition of Fénelon's Télémaque, a French and Dutch version of Fénelon's Télémaque, which is, a well-known book in French literature. So crucially, Jacques Cousteau provided no explanation of the text or any grammar. He didn't explain anything. He just gave the student the book, and he told them to learn independently through continuous self-correction and extensive writing about what they had read in the bilingual edition of the Télémaque. This process led students to fluent French and sophistical analytical abilities, strangely enough. Jacques Cousteau's universal teaching challenged traditional pedagogy, which assumes teachers must transmit knowledge. And he demonstrated that wasn't true, and that the intellectual emancipation occurs when students activate their own intelligence. The will to learn, not the teacher's knowledge, is the primary driver of understanding. This insight dismantled the hierarchical master-student relationship, asserting that all human intelligence is equal and capable of independent learning. So, the core principles of intellectual emancipation goes this way. The first principle is equal intelligence. All human beings possess equal intellectual capability. Differences arise from attention and will, not about any inherent capacity. The second principle is the equality as a starting point. The equality between the teacher and the students and all the parties participating in the dynamics. Equality is a premise to be enacted, not a distant goal to be achieved. We start by being equal, not in order to become equal. And it was this principle, this teaching principle is against stultification, which means, against the idea that you have to explain, where you when you explain, you actually reinforce the inequality by creating intellectual dependency. So this hierarchy, if you'd like, is kind of shattering the notion of stultification. Learning without masters, people can learn anything through direct engagement. This principle means that anyone with any intellectual formation or capabilities is able to learn by him or herself just with will and verification. So the notion of explication, to explain, is that kind of principle, that the traditional principle that needs to be critiqued. So this is what Jacques Rancière says. The explicator sets up and abolishes the distance. He deploys it and reabsorbs it in the fullness of his speech. What does this mean? This means that traditional education creates a cycle of dependency by positioning students as incapable without explanation. This explicative order actually perpetuates intellectual inequality and dependency rather than resolving it. By explaining, teachers unwittingly reinforce the idea that students cannot understand without mediation. I know seems to be kind of self-destructive for teachers, but in fact, it's not. I just let me just further go with my presentation. So Jacques Cousteau's method relies on three fundamental actions. The first is direct engagement with primary materials. Students are given the primary materials. They're not given, like, if you'd like, explained material or mediated material. They have to go directly into the sources of knowledge. Verification of understanding through expression. It means that in order to verify that the students have understood, you have to make them actually explain themselves, express whatever they know they have acquired from their readings. And also the third fundamental action is the attention. Attention and will are the driving forces for independent exploration. So this method thrives on the learner's intelligence, transforming them from passive recipients to active constructors of understanding. Any situation where the students actually are requested to bring up information that has been acquired by themselves is the only way for them to actually become active learners and develop their autonomy. Direct engagement. Students immerse themselves in complex materials, grappling with them without pre-digested explanation. This fosters a deep personal relationship with the subject matter. The way you acquire, the way you actually seize information and knowledge is the best way. So, but everyone does in a different way, and that's the beauty of it. It's a kind of if you'd like, a democratization of methods of learning. Instead of the teacher imposing one model, every student will be actually doing it by themselves. And the notion of verification, which is understanding by solidification of the knowledge. When students express themselves and express what they've learned in their own words through writing, explanation, or teaching. So we invite students to actually teach whatever they have learned by themselves, and this is the best way to verify their knowledge. The notion of attention and will, this is the success. The success of students depends on the student's desire to know and sustained focus. The teacher fosters this will, creating an environment for independent discovery. This approach redefines education. True learning is its self-emancipation driven by the individual's inherent capacity to understand and explore. Now, the notion of equality, I think, has to be understood as a starting point, not a goal. Our problem isn't proving that all intelligence is equal, it's seeing what can be done under that supposition. The starting assumption is that we are equal. All intelligences, all types of intelligence are equal. In traditional education, the views of equality as views equality as a distant, aspirational outcome, implying initial intellectual disparity among learners. For example, you can see that the French laïcité, education system, thrives to liberate or emancipate students as a goal. In fact, the education, the proper education is to start with the supposition or the presupposition that everybody is equal. And the teacher's role traditionally is always positioned as superior, authoritative source, tasked with elevating students from ignorance. So the onus is all on the teacher. It's like saying it's a teacher-centered way of doing it. Learner states operates on the assumption that inherent inequality, the student is an empty vessel that needs to be filled out. And here is Rancière's challenge, is to assert that equality must be the foundational, non-negotiable assumption for all education practices. We need to unlock this potential, the potential of learning, by proceeding from the premise that all intelligences are equally and inherently equal to unlock true learning and intellectual autonomy. This is a transformative shift. It necessitates a transformation in educational relationships that is going from vertical to horizontal, exploration over exposition and institutional frameworks. So one interesting comparison, because my field of expertise is translation studies, is to compare this, and this is what actually Rancière has done, is to compare the learning process to a translational process, which is the heart of learning. In translation, there is an encounter, just like in education. Students directly encounter a text, concept, or phenomenon. And also, in translation, you need to re-express, re-narrate whatever you have learned. The students articulate this understanding in their own words by actively presenting whatever they have learned. And in translation, students translate what they observe into their own understanding. So it's a re-narration, and by this you verify your understanding through evidence and reasoning. Translation actually is interesting because it brings people to a par in terms of their position. If you want to see, translation is usually seen as something where you appropriate someone else's knowledge. Actually, it's not that when it comes in a social situation like education. In a social situation, it has to be both ways. You have to translate each other. There is no way that you translate in one direction. It is a mutual translation process, which means that you have to be equal in order for things to be working. So, what is the teacher's role? The teacher's role is to emancipate the students. To do that, he has to give them responsibilities. And, he's a verifier of attention and engagement. The teacher ensures students that are actively present and engaged, observing, confirming genuine participation to connect with concept. And he provokes them with questions. The teacher strategically asks questions that stimulate critical thinking and deeper inquiry, provoking students to explore ideas independently. But he is also a learner. Just like in translation, I said, if you are equal with your teacher, then the teacher has to learn as well from you and listen to your understanding as a learner. The teacher openly participates in the learning journey alongside students, demonstrating how to approach new knowledge and modeling intellectual curiosity and discovery. So, in the educational process, not only the students get to be transformed, they also transform the teacher. The teacher is transformed as well. And the students, the teachers sustain the students' motivation and commitment, helping them to overcome obstacles and stay on track. But he also, by choosing not to provide all answers, the teacher empowers students to construct their own understanding and liberating them to think critically and become autonomous learners. So, in terms of practicalities, uh, the professional development, obviously, workshop for educators to unlearn teacher-centric practices and embrace intellectual equality, and also supports networks, peer support networks where communities are developed, communities of practice where educators openly discuss challenges in transitioning to facilitation rather than explication. And there is also what we call action research. Teachers document their journey by writing journals, if you'd like, about their own experience toward facilitation, recording successes and struggles in transforming classrooms, and this should be shared among the community. So, for example, in classroom, the central material approach is that to provide students with rich primary material. Students don't have to have, something that is kind of digested from them. They have to digest it by themselves. You have to give them raw material to go through it and explore. Literary text to student decode collaboratively, scientific phenomena to be observed directly, and historical primary sources to be interpreted without mediation, but also the learning through narration, which is re-narration, which is presenting, by students, presentations by students who have to regularly articulate their understanding to their peers and verify through evidence. There's always group discussions that needs to be done, peer teaching circles, presentations of independent discoveries, etc., etc. So the question-driven pedagogy, asking questions, raising questions is key, critical, building block of this emancipated education. Student-generated questions means that students formulate their own questions about content driving inquiry based on their curiosity, and also the collaboration. So by confronting each other's understanding, they verify the knowledge that they are acquiring, through peer verification and using evidence and reasoning. Also, independent investigation, where learners pursue answers through primary materials and peer dialogue, not teacher explanation. And finally, knowledge construction. All this is an understanding that emerges from this process of inquiry, verification, and refinement. So this is something where the knowledge is constructed, in a dynamically, dialogically. In terms of the assessment of an emancipated classroom, this is how you do it. For example, you ask for to develop reflective portfolios where students document their learning journey, reflecting on challenges, breakthroughs, and evidence of understanding. Peer verification, again, the groups, regular peer assessment based on evidence and clarity of reasoning rather than conformity to predetermined answers, and also public exhibition, making students present and take the floor in front of audiences, also developing their own ability to express themselves in public is very important. Now, what about AI? We've been talking about AI all the time, and this is a big challenge to take. So the AI as hallucination problem, we need to be wary of AI's thinking that AI is a source of information. AI is not a source of information. AI is only a support to process information, and we need to be sure that whatever we learn the right thing. And AI is not a good source of information. AI, the in you know AI generates plausible sounding information, but often inaccurate. The content, students increasingly risk passive consumption of misinformation. So students sometimes, become so hooked to AI that they accept anything, any output from them without verification. Their critical thinking skills diminish through dependency. Their intellectual autonomy erodes as AI becomes the authority. Their attention span shrinks, and quick answers replace deep engagement. So, what is the emancipatory response? Is that we need to make them directly engage with primary sources, make them constantly verify claims against evidence, and have them be accountable to their peers through collaborative critique, so that they can be self-reliant and through practice without being relying on AI. So how to do that? Active engagement versus passive consumption, verification, centric learning. We have to verify everything and do that by our own means instead of relying on a machine, and also social verification networks. So we need also to go into peer communities, collaborative critique AI generated content, talking to human beings more than talking to machines. But also, this means that we need to be also technologically resilient. Education remains sustainable even when technology fails because students rely primarily on human intelligence. So this means that by relying much less on AI, not only do we make sure that education is better and more emancipated and but it is also sustainable for the environment. The more you use AI and the more you are actually, burning energy, and this is a bad thing for the earth, as you know. So Rancière's approach offers particular value in resource-constrained environments of the global south in terms of emphasis in utilizing readily available materials and local sources, significantly reducing financial burden in making quality education more accessible. So the more you make it local and you more it is resource efficient. Again, we need to think about the environment here. And also the notion of knowledge decolonization. This is very important to stress. We need to decolonize our knowledge. Not everything has to come from the West. This empowers learners to integrate indigenous knowledge. Our tradition and heritage is valuable. We need to go back to it and innovate by resorting to it, but with uh, a new interpretation, with bringing new lights on it. Fostering localized curricula less dependent on Western expertise. And also, this gives more power to our communities. It encourages peer-to-peer learning and collaborative discovery, building educational self-sufficiency within communities and strengthening local capacities. But this is also provides, technological advances. It redefines AI's role as an instrument for verification and critical analysis, which enables students to harness AI for efficiency without dependency. So this is the kind of balance we need to find between using AI and relying on AI, which is a very different thing in order to promote digital literacy. So generally speaking, the path forward in education for emancipation is communities of equals, and intellectual independence, critical verification, and sustainable practice through approaches that thrive with minimal resources and maximum human engagement, but more importantly, with this idea that the global South needs to decolonize itself from Western influences, or at least from exclusively Western influences. And that brings me to my last part of my presentation, which is talking about the Muslim heritage. So there has been some analogs to what Jacoto has presented to us in his experience in the 19th century. We have analogs in the Muslim tradition that go as far as the Middle Ages. In the classical era, for example, people like Ibn Tufayl, Al-Ghazali, Ibn Khaldun, all those have championed self-discovery and experiential knowledge over rote learning. Pedagogical practices, we know majalis as an example of teaching circles where groups, teach each other and verify their knowledge. As well, also the principle of ijtihad in al-fiqh, in independent reasoning, foster critical questioning, intellectual equality. But also we can find some example in modern reforms of intellectual emancipation in the 20th century. For example, early 20th century, there were Muhammad Abdu and other people that advocated reason-based learning, critical engagement, and freedom from intellectual dependency. And that was at the heyday of colonization. So let's take them one by one very quickly. I know my time is almost up. Ibn Tufayl with the famous book Hayy ibn Yaqzan, a philosophical allegory of autonomous learning without external teachers, etc., etc. And you must probably know about this example. Al-Ghazali in Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, it's a famous book where Al-Ghazali emphasized personal experiential knowledge, al-dhawq, and independent verification, tahqiq, over rote imitation, which is taqlid. And also Muqaddimah by Ibn Khaldun, where he criticized rote memorization, advocating deep understanding, internalization, and personal verification through critical reasoning. Al-ijtihad is a very important and powerful independent reasoning method, where that was used in majalis, but also as in Islamic jurisprudence, where it embodies the spirit of autonomous exploration, where scholars are required to critically analyze text and rational arguments, moving beyond inherited interpretation through self-reliant thought. So, what is al-ijtihad? I think I'm not going to have the time to explain too much, but it is an active interpretation. Ijtihad rejects mediation or reliance on, just only tradition, but also on the human mind's creativity, and also it's a universal capacity. This practice implicitly recognizes the human intellect inherent capability for independent thought and critical judgment akin to universal intelligence. So, but we can find also people in the later times of Islamic history with the Muslim reformers such as Muhammad Abdu, who championed the autonomy of reason, advocating for educational reforms that prioritize independent inquiry and critical engagement over blind adherence to traditional authority. You have also the example of Mustafa Sadiq al-Rafi'i, who actually impersonates this emancipated learning autonomy, where knowledge acquisition is driven by personal initiative rather than formal authority. His own life exemplifies self-discipline. After losing his hearing, he constructed his own educational trajectory through reading, writing, and personal reflection. This voluntary driven learning process reflects his belief in structured intellectual autonomy. And finally, Malik bin Nabi is an example of how to decolonize knowledge from the West. He critiqued passive knowledge transmission, emphasizing the cultivation of critical faculties and intellectual independence to overcome what he termed colonizability. And all this fosters autonomy, self-critical thought, and emancipation from intellectual dependence, which unfortunately is to some extent current until today, nowadays. So let me conclude with this last slide, where I believe that there must be a global imperative to emancipate our knowledge by unlocking universal intelligence, recognizing and fostering the inherent capacity for independent learning in every student, liberating them from passive consumption, decolonizing global education, empowering the global South to forge educational paths rooted in diverse epistemologies, independent of Western paradigms, which brings us to reinvest our own Islamic heritage, and cultivating sustainable literacy, building digital resilience where critical verification in human intellect, not AI in dependency, drive knowledge acquisition, which means that we need to be very careful how to use AI, but we need to use it and use it properly and very diligently. Education as liberation. To educate means to liberate ourselves from hierarchies, from dependencies, and to autonomize ourselves by transforming learning into a journey of self-discovery and collective emancipation, fostering true intellectual autonomy. And thank you very much for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. This was a very interesting topic and presentation. And I strongly agree that the emancipated classroom offers a timely rethinking of how learning spaces can adapt, not just technologically, but philosophically. So it's very interesting from the Joseph Jacot thought philosophy of principle, education principle. And we received a lot of information, and it opened our minds to delve deeper in the upcoming discussion session. And I already have a question, Prof. And I'm sure that the participants are eager to ask about our topic too. Okay, so thank you so much, Prof. Okay, we will also hear an interesting topic from our second speaker. I would like to invite our second keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Zawawi Ismail from University of Malaya, Malaysia, to deliver the presentation. Title is AI-driven transformation in Arabic language skills instruction toward a new digital learning environment in Southeast Asia. Okay, there's a Professor Zawawi Ismail. Dr. Zawawi Ismail is an associate professor in previously the dean of the Faculty of Education, University of Malaya, Malaysia. He received his bachelor degree in Arabic language and literature, Sharia, from Yarmouk, Jordan. Postgraduate diploma of education from International Islamic University, Malaysia. Master in Arabic education, and obtained his Ph.D. In the field of education from National University of Malaysia. And his research interests include Arabic and Islamic education curriculum, teacher education, Muslim minority education, and Quranic language education. He has published articles in international and national journals, books, and other publications. Dr. Zawawi also has contributed a lot of society, and he is also active in several NGOs and one of the founders of Yayasan Al-Shafi'i, which is focusing on developing Islamic boarding school in Cambodia and other educational activities in Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay. Okay, let me invite again to our second keynote speaker, Dr. Zawawi Ismail.
Okay.
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 Okay, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Naim. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, respected educators, fellows, researchers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So it is my honor to be here to share with all the Arabic language educators or the Asatiza on my topic, artificial intelligence driven transformation in Arabic language skill instruction towards a new digital learning environment in Southeast Asia. So as we know that Arabic not just a language, is the key to understanding the Quran, the Hadith, and Islamic knowledge. And in the same time, Arabic language is the key to be an Islamic scholar. So who want to be an Islamic scholar, they have to learn, they have to have a good knowledge on Arabic. And in the same time, it's become a Muslim identity in Southeast Asia. Okay, this presentation, inshallah, is on how artificial intelligence is transforming Arabic language skills instruction, like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And this presentation highlights how digital innovation, including artificial intelligence power tools like natural language processing, NLP, intelligent tutoring system, and automated feedback mission are creating a new digital learning environment in teaching Arabic, which is divided to linguistic element and language skill. And our presentation will be focusing on the language skills as a core component of the language teaching and learning nowadays. So we go to the introduction. Okay. Okay. So Arabic is more than a foreign language in Southeast Asia. It is a language of worship. It means that we use the language to perform our ibadah. For example, when we perform salat, we use Arabic. When we perform dua, recite dua, so we use Arabic. It's not the worship of, and it is second theme is scholarship and the identity. And in Muslim majority countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, Arabic plays an integral role in shaping religious practices and academic discourse. This requires basic Arabic literacy among Muslims in Southeast Asia. In Malaysia and Indonesia, Arabic is taught from the early age of the life to facilitate Quranic recitation and memorization. Islamic school, for example, madrasah, pesantren, tahfiz center, mahad, pondok, and others officially announced Arabic as the core medium for transmitting Islamic knowledge via teaching and learning Islamic education. For example, Omar 1992 discussed the formal and informal use of Arabic in Malaysia religious institution. Similarly, Roslan and Ismail 2019 highlight the importance of the Arabic in strengthening Islamic identity among the Malay Muslim community. Okay, we go to the next slide, Arabic for Muslim scholar. Okay, so Arabic is also center to academic program in Islamic theology, okay, and comparative religion across the Southeast Asia University. Institutions such as International Islamic University Malaysia, IIUM, University Islam Negeri Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta, UNISA in Brunei, offer Arabic medium degree program. These institutions emphasize Arabic proficiency for engaging with classical Islamic texts. Al-Atas emphasize Arabic as a vehicle. Arabic is the medium to be a vehicle for authentic Islamic epistemology, and also Azra documented how the Islamic reformist movement in Southeast Asia historically rely on Arabic sources. So we go to the next one is Arabic for Southeast Asia social culture. Okay. Arabic also function as a cultural marker. So the Malay language incorporates numerous Arabic beyond the religious and academic context. Arabic also function as a cultural marker. So the Malay language incorporates numerous Arabic terms. For example, Masjid, Jahad, Kalimah Jahad, for example. This verb come from Arabic. Min kalimah or min word jahada. But we put dal, we put t, or we are not use the word exactly, but we make a modification. So kalimah jahad, or the word jahad means is a negative word. Min kalimah or ja'a min kalimah jahada. And there is also a lot of Arabic terms, Arabic words used in Malay or in Indonesia language. And Arabic script, Jawi, has historically used in Malay administration and literature. Islamic greeting, for example, we said Assalamu alaikum. This is used very every day to greet somebody else. And in Malaysia, for example, I have a colleague who is non-Muslim, but when he or she meet with us, she or he said Assalamu alaikum, even though he or she is not a Muslim. And they use Insha'Allah, they use the word Alhamdulillah as a common in everyday communication. Prof explore the origin of Malay nationalism and is connecting to the Islamic identity, including the rule of Arabic. Ismail, 2020, discussed how Arabic and Jawi script shape Malay Islamic civilization and identity. Okay, we go to the second elements in this presentation. Okay, the element is for language skill. When we teach or when we learn language, we are always focusing on 4 skills, which is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, language skill traditionally involve 4 language skill. Listening means it's not hear, because here is something else. Here maybe we can translate to Arabic in sami'a, but listening istima. Istima is different. Listening is different from hear, or sami'a is different from istima. So listening is a receptive process, involve medium oral. Speaking is production process, so it's involve oral. Reading, receptive process, so it involve the medium of written. Writing, productive process, mean we produce the language. Speaking and writing is produce the language. Listening and reading means that we receive or we got the language. Of course, the writing is with the written or with the symbol of the writing. Okay, these skills are interrelated in both cognitive processing and communicative use. For example, listening support speaking, and reading support writing structure and vocabulary. Yet, in many educational contexts, especially Arabic language instruction, these skills are taught in isolation. It means that if we want to teach speaking, maybe we are not included in the speaking process, reading and writing. So it is not good. While the 4 language skills are interconnected in real communication, moving forward, integrated skill pedagogy allows learners to develop more authentic language ability, particularly important in the holistic understanding of Arabic as a living and academic language. Okay, so we go to the next one is what is the challenge? What is Arabic education challenge? What is the challenge? Okay, so traditionally approach to Arabic language instruction in Southeast Asia are often characterized by the first one is grammar translation method. It's very, very famous, GTM. This method focus on the roots of memorizing of the grammar rules and translation of the text. We are focusing on memorize, and we are focusing on grammar. We are focusing on translation. When we teach, we are teaching Arabic, but we use the second language, Malay language or Indonesian language, more than Arabic language. The second element is teacher-centered instruction. The teacher is the sole sources of the knowledge with limited student interaction or autonomy. Everything is on the teacher. The third one is uniform curriculum. What is uniform curriculum? Well, uniform curriculum means that we give a little flexibility to the student to address. We give the very little flexibility to address different learners or different student abilities. The student have a variety of abilities, and a variety of the styles, but we are not focusing on that. We still not or we are not focusing on here or know what is the different of ability or styles, learning style among the student. The last one is the lack of instruction. Lesson are often one size fit all. I want to teach this like this. Everyone have to follow me. The student or the learners have to follow the teacher. So it means that we are targeting on the average student. This method may be effective for the basic literacy of religious instruction, but they often fail to cater the cognitive, linguistic, and motivational diversity among learners, especially at the secondary and tertiary level. Okay, what is the evidence for that? Okay. From the research, in Malaysia, for example, Arabic instruction in many secondary schools relies heavily on textbook translation, recitation, and dictation, limiting active use of language. Oh, that's very, very interesting because we teach language, so we don't give the student times to practice the language. We teach the language when we don't give the time to student to practice the language. For example, in the classroom, we teach the student what is the meaning of the sayara, for example. But we are not giving them time to use the words in their daily life or in their classroom. Okay. In Indonesia, pesantren emphasize traditional kitab, classical text, for example, which prioritize comprehension of the religious content, but may not support broader communicative competence. In Brunei, they have the same problem. Okay, let's go to the next presentation. What is the challenge with the mixed proficiency learners? So the learners of the Arabic language now is not in the same level. Okay, the learners are very what we call mutanawwi'ah or varying proficiency levels. That's why the advanced student may become disengaged due to the lack of the challenge, because they feel there is a very simple, very it's not challenge to him. Okay, lower proficiency student may fall behind because of the fast pace or the grammar heavily instruction. They feel the lower proficiency students say that they are very difficult. It's a very burden for them. Okay, lack of formative feedback leads to the minimal awareness of the individual process, individual process and individual progress. So they not know which level they are now. Students with different learning style, maybe auditory or visual, kinesthetic, and others are not supported. For example, Roslan, note that the traditional madrasah model in Malaysia focus heavily on the memorizing and reproduction, and which limits critical engagement and oral proficiency development. Saadun, for example, highlight how university University Arabic program in Malaysia suffer from outdated pedagogical models that do not align with the modern student needs, and particularly in writing and speaking. Okay, let's go quickly on the next slide. Conceptual analysis by skill. Okay, in listening, okay, we use AI power listening tools offer speech to text transcription with Arabic speech corpora, interactive audio modules that adapt to learner level, AI generated dialogue based on the topic preference. Okay. When we talk about speaking, maybe the real-time speech recognition system can be provide a real-time pronunciation feedback using an NLP algorithm. Okay, the fluency monitoring and intonation analysis and the reading, for example, AI and enhance reading instruction via text simplification tools for beginners learners. Intelligent text recommendation system and maybe Quranic reading aids that analyze root words and syntax. And the last one is writing. AI supports writing construction through automated grammar and spelling correction tools, easy scoring system with linguistic feedback, and writing assistant trained on Arabic text corpora. Okay, so we go to integrative models in language instructions. Okay, we just have about 10 minutes. Okay. Integrative models in language instruction refer to the teaching approach that combine the 4 language skills, which is listening, speaking, reading, and writing, into unified, meaningful tasks rather than teaching them in isolation. These models emphasize the real-life communication, cognitive engagement, and cultural relevance. Okay, we go to the next slide. Okay, conceptual framework, AI plus language skill. AI-powered listening tools offer, the first one is speech-to-text transcriptions with Arabic speech corpora. A large collection of Arabic speech recordings, we call corpora, people talking in Arabic, that's stored and used to train AI system to understand, recognize, and process the Arabic language. For example, if we want an application to understand spoken Arabic, like Siri or Google Assistant, for example, it needs to learn from many examples from the people, learn from the people speaking Arabic. These examples are what we call speech corpus. Okay. The second is interactive audio modules that adapt to the learner's level. In speaking recognition system provided a real-time pronunciation feedback using an NLP algorithm. Fluence, and the third one is conventional AI boots to simulate the real speaking scenarios. Okay, and also the readings and also the writings. Okay, we go strictly to the instruction challenge. There is a big challenge. Okay, for example, in listening, limited access to native content, and in writing, for example, grammar, heavy structure, and limited feedback, because the complicated of grammar system rules in Arabic is become a problem with the student and also with us as a teacher and an educator. Okay, we go to the next page is AI tools in language instruction. Okay, let us focusing on this slide. Okay, artificial intelligence is redefining how Arabic is taught and learned by introducing intelligent technologies that this technology can personalize instruction. So if we personalize the instruction, means that the instruction is based on the person or the profiling for the student, it will increase the efficiency, and if it will be get a big or very good enhanced engagement. Okay, let's go to the adaptive learning platform. AI system can track student performance and adjust instructions in real time. This adaptive learning platform can diagnose learners' strengths and weakness. For example, some of the students weak in Fa'al Amr, for example. So the system analyze and give him more exercise on that. Offer individualized content based on a learner's level and performance. Okay, for example, an AI system might give extra practice in Arabic for musanna ala sabil mithal. For example, some of the students face a lot of problem in dual or musanna. So the system, the AI will give you the more what we call more practice on that. The second one is natural language processing, NLP, for grammar and meaning. NLP allows machines to understand and process human language, including Arabic. Artificial intelligence tools use NLP to detect grammatical errors, suggest the correction, explain, and give the explanation in real time. That's very good for us. So the third one is speech recognition for speaking practice. Artificial intelligence application help learners improve learning comprehension and spoken. Speech recognition tools provide a real-time feedback on the pronunciations. AI chatbots, for example, voice assistants simulate reality conversation in Arabic. Okay, the last one is writing assistant and assessment. Artificial intelligence tools improve writing by provide instant grammar and style feedback. Instant feedback for the grammar. Scoring, maybe we can use AI to give us scoring essays based on the coherent, based on the grammar and vocabulary. For example, a student paragraph on ta'lim, education, is instantly checked and revised with correct case ending and connectors. Okay, so AIs reduce teacher workload by automating assessment and grading of the written and spoken assignments, providing analytics on learners' engagement and process. So AI, the benefit teacher can more focus on the facilitation and mentorship while AI handle the routine instruction tests. Okay. We go to the benefit of AI integration. So there is a personalized learning path. Okay. It means that artificial intelligence system adapt the content level and difficulty based on each learner's proficiency level and performance. The second thing is increased learner motivation. With the AI, artificial intelligence powered environment often use gamification, for example, interactive tasks to increase the engagement among the student. Okay, the third one is effective teaching support. Artificial intelligence automates routine tasks or give us help in doing routine tasks such as grading, feedback, tracking learners' progress, allowing teacher to focus in on the personalized guidance. So the last one is broader accessibility in rural areas. AI tools deployed via mobile application, for example, or offline platform allow students in remote or underserved areas to access quality instruction. So, in fact, this one can be a bridge to the urban and rural education gap to the student. Okay. So we go to the next before last. Okay. the challenge and limitation. The first one is Arabic linguistic complexity. Okay, Arabic is one of the most linguistic complex language in the world, and this presents major challenge to the AI system. The second one is, we go faster, limited Arabic AI data set. Artificial intelligence tools really a large data set or need a large data set, text and speech for machine learning. However, high quality, however, we don't have a lot of data set. So we lack on this one, limited. We got a very limited Arabic data set. Okay, the next one is infrastructure gaps. Okay, we have problem in infrastructure gaps. So we go to the last one. Okay, we go to the last one. No, the next before. Okay, the first one, infrastructure gaps. Okay, towards the sustainable of AI and enhanced future. The infrastructure gap is the big problem in Malaysia, and I think it's also happened in Indonesia. Because of this, we get unstable internet access, for example, limited access in digital platform in Arabic and anything else. Okay, the last one is need for teacher. Before the slide before, the needs for teacher training. Many Arabic language teachers are not trained in using AI tools or digital pedagogy. So that's why we have to make another module, develop a module, for example, to train teacher in AI, especially Arabic language teacher, that they can use or they can use the AI to be one of the sources for teaching Arabic. So with that, I want to conclude that, okay, sustainability in AI enhanced Arabic language education is not about replacing traditional or replacing tradition, but involving it with digital intelligence. By investing in linguistic resources and teacher empowerment, the future of the Arabic instructions in Southeast Asia can be both innovative and faithful to its roots. In conclusion, AI should be viewed not as a replacement for Arabic language educators or teachers, but as complementary tools that empower them to deliver more inclusive, efficient, and adaptive language instruction. With the right investment and the ethical framework in place, Southeast Asia is well positioned to lead in the development of AI-enhanced Arabic education models that are not only technologically advanced, but also pedagogically transformed. So with that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Shukran ala husni istima'ikum wa barakallahu fikum. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Zawawi. This is very interesting to discuss common about our topic, specific in Arabic learning. And a common Arabic expression states about technology ذو حدين. Technology has two sides, positive and negative sides. So this is, I mean, both topics are closely connected, so they share concern for the future of education in the digital and AI enhanced world. AI tools can democratize Arabic language, for example, across Southeast Asia. But critical pedagogy warns of kids of learners are not trained to use technology wisely or ethically. So we have gained a lot of new information and insight related to the topics presented by our speakers, our distinguished speakers, Prof. Salah and also Prof. Zawawi, and we don't want to miss this good opportunity to dig deeper and gain more knowledge, science, and information related to this issue through active discussion that we expect from all participants. Okay, so we open the questions session from the participants. You can raise your hand directly, or maybe you can write your question in the chat. Okay, any question from our participants? So, okay, Prof, as you mentioned before about this is Jakotot principle or Joseph Jakoto's educational philosophy about emancipatory education. This is about intellectual equality. This Jakotot believe that everyone has equal intelligence, and so we can say that Jakoto's principle disrupt a conventional teacher-student roles. Student roles, raising a fundamental tension. So if everyone is equally intelligent and capable of learning without being taught, so what then becomes of the teacher's authority and purpose? Yeah.
Thank
Prof.
you,
Salah.
Dr. Naim,
Yeah.
for your question.
Yes.
As I mentioned in my presentation, the teacher's role remains important because, first of all, he or she is putting up the setting, and the very fact of actually, allowing for a setting where this principle of equality is set and put as an assumption, as a presupposition to the educational process, it is paramount. I mean, this very first step is essential. The second thing is that the role of the teacher remains about also, is an impulse, for this is what you need to do, and the very fact of proposing for Jacotot proposing the telemac instead of anything else was determining, for example. And the very fact also of proposing discussion circles, discussion groups is one setting, is initiating, sorry, a way of learning. And also the fact, for example, that the professor or the teacher raises questions, kind of provoking the students to speak up their mind. The fact that he's encouraging them to express themselves, to interact, to give critical, their to exert their critical mind on the material they have been given. All this is, is paramount in terms of the role of the professor. So I think that, the teacher's role will never disappear. and the importance. The notion of equality actually needs to be also, kind of extended beyond simply the classroom. Jacques Rancière, the philosopher who kind of presented Jacques Cousteau's example, is a political philosopher. So we need to think about whatever the classroom setting is proposing as simply uh, a small model of maybe what social and political interaction should be. So I believe really that the teacher's role is remains very important and will not be simply erased by this kind of equalitarian type of philosophy, I believe.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Yes, and also mentioned about the intellectual. You mentioned about intellectual emancipation. That from the reformer Muslim intellectuals encourage individuals not passively, passively accept AI generated content or output of the AI, but to critically assess the what it is, the how this AI produce, okay, and the outcome of learning, and also understand ethical implication. But today, our students, so technology is their life. So how the student or the parents try to assist they to evaluate the AI generated content, outcome, learning outcome, and also understand the ethical implication of AI and their learning in the future. Because AI or technology is, is their life and like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things to do is first of all inform students about what is AI and what it can do, but also what it cannot do. There are things that AI is not able to do, and we need to show all the mishaps and hallucinations of AI, all the misinformation that is diffused. So by doing experiments as an initial, if you like, step in the classroom, we need to bring students to the realization that AI is limited and the information that it's producing is based on pre-digested knowledge, and that there is no creativity whatsoever that AI is capable of, and that the only creativity is human creativity, actually. And by knowing and by being empowered by this realization, students, should feel more kind of entitled to challenge AI rather than being challenged by AI. I think there's an interaction of almost competition. I'm not talking about, quantities or speed. We're talking about originality. The, the thing that AI is absolutely not capable of is originality. And in terms of ethics, we need to also make students realize that AI is very much biased. That what we feed AI is what we get back, and what we get back is a lot of material that is coming from the West, and that we need also to decolonize AI, if you'd like. In that sense, the biases of AI have to be unveiled and made and make our students realize about the dependency that we may fall into if we really, kind of concede everything to AI and the knowledge it provides us with.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. It's very clear information. So, okay. Maybe Prof. Zawawi I remember about our concern today about digital infrastructure. Okay, so many school when we talking about the education in Indonesia, Malaysia, or Southeast Asia, there's many school and institution lack infrastructure from teachers and also access to AI powered tools, especially in rural or underfunded area. So, and this led to create a digital gap where only privileged students benefit from AI enhanced Arabic learning, for example. So, and at the same time, loss of cultural and religious context. Arabic is not just a language, it's tied to Islamic identity and religious understanding. Offer reliance on AI tools like translation bots and generate application. This is a risk mechanizing language without transmitting its spiritual and cultural depth. This is, I think, is a big problem in this digital era. How about your opinion, Prof. Nawawi?
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor, for your question, for your situation that we are facing now about the lack of infrastructure. This is the common problem that we are facing in Malaysia, Indonesia, and other countries. So, infrastructure is not everything. So we are develop a human being. So infrastructure is a tools, just like AI. AI is a tools. So that's why the tools or AI cannot replace the teacher or the educators, because we need educators. If we don't have infrastructure, we need educator. And if we have infrastructure, we still need educator or the teacher. Okay, that's why there is one of the problem in past 25 years ago. We have a very small allocation. So the allocation for education, but the allocation, the money we want to spend on what? Want to spend on teacher, or want to spend on the building, or want to spend on the textbooks. So after discussion, so the recommendation from the discussion among what we call the scholars, or among the experts, international education expert, they feel that the recommendation from them is spend the money, the allocation in educating teachers. So we don't have textbooks, but it is enough for us to have a teacher. Okay, but if we don't have, because the teacher not just giving the fact. AI, for example, they don't give us the knowledge. Maybe we can discuss about fact and knowledge. Okay, data, and the second one is knowledge. Knowledge is not in the mind. Is memorizing is not knowledge. It's just memorize the fact or the figure or something. But that's why we need educators, we need teachers to develop from the data to the knowledge. In Islamic tradition, we say that the knowledge is not in the head, in the mind, it's in the qalb, in the hati. في القلوب العلم في القلوب ليس في الذهن. This one is very important things that we have to mention because the AI, the infrastructure is a tools. So if we have a lack of tools, it's never mind. It's okay. We just have to use another one, a simple one or another one to make sure that teaching process is happen with the teachers. Yeah. Based on the presentation from the Prof. Salah, the teacher is there, even though the teacher maybe is lack of knowledge, but the teacher is the teacher, because we don't just want to get knowledge from the teacher or the fact or the figure from the teacher, but want to have a humanity engagement with the teacher. That's why the people or the student need. And now, what happened in the education now? What happened to them? So the student interact with the fact and figure. They are not interact with the human. That's the problem. They got a lot of data. They got a lot of that they call knowledge, but they are not have any moral or adab. Because of what? Because they feel that memorizing something is the aim or the climax of the teaching and learning. No, it's not that. Imam Al-Ghazali say that knowledge is nothing without the practice, without the feel to practice, and you feel the importance of the knowledge. That's why. And yes, we are talking about AI, we are talking about infrastructure, but be careful not that we take or we put the AI and the infrastructure in the first place in the education process. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof, for your clear explanation about our issue. Okay, so we have another question. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, please.
Bismillah, to Prof. Zawawi, thank you for this education. And my question is, as a student, how I can adopt a properly AI tool or application in my Arabic learning and teaching, for example, in order I can produce a quality of my learning.
Okay, the question from Afnan. Yes. Again, maybe.
Okay, can you repeat the question, please? Afnan.
Yes.
I can't get your point. Can you repeat your question, please?
Okay.
Okay.
As the student, how I can adopt properly AI tool or application in my Arabic learning and teaching, for example, in order I can produce a quality of my learning, Doctor.
Okay, good. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
It's clear, Prof. This is how the student can adopt the properly AI tools or application in his Arabic learning, for example. Yes. In other can produce maybe the quality of learning. Yes, like this.
Okay. Okay. We can use the AI for help us to what we call to develop our ability in learning. For example, Arabic, for example. What is our problem in learning Arabic? We are focusing on speaking, for example. speaking Arabic language, for example. What's our problem now in Malaysia? What is the problem now in Indonesia? The problem is we don't have the Arabic language environment. Okay, so when we learn Arabic in our classroom, when we go out from the classroom, we don't have the environment. So if you want to speak with our friends in Arabic, they refuse. The first thing. The second one, if they hear from us, they are laughing. They are laughing, okay, with us. Okay, so that's why it's become an anxiety to talk or to speak Arabic outside the classroom, and we don't have opportunity. We don't have enough opportunity. So that's why here the AI please come and help you. Why? How? If you develop AI program, for example, we can speak with AI. We can speak with AI, so we don't have any anxiety. Nobody will laugh to her, and nobody will maybe what we call talk negatively about us. That's why we are practicing the speaking with AI. That's good. That's why in our university now we are now develop AI program that can be used by the student, and the student will speak and talk with the AI, and the AI will we repeat or we give the correction if we are wrong, for example. That's good because we don't have anxiety. So we can use the AI properly, but we have to know that is practicing, the practice. So the elements, the vocabulary and everything we can get from the classroom, and or we can get from the AI system or the AI application. Is okay. So what I mean here is, okay, you can get help from the AI. So, but you have to confirm in the critical elements. You have to confirm with your teachers or with your supervisors in order to go to the next step, because the AI is just like Prof. Salah said, what you give, you get back. Okay, that's nothing more than that. That's why when we get back, and we have to ask, we have to go and ask your supervisor and ask your teachers in order to confirm that's the elements that you need. So this is the first one. The second one is okay. We are saying we are not going to use the AI. Okay, so this is very difficult now, because if you don't know one words, and now we just type, and the AI will give you the vocabulary, the meanings, the what we call dictionary meanings. But if you want to use in the context, you have to go to the context. So that's very very good for you, and you don't have to go to the physical dictionary, for example. So it's very faster for you to get the meaning, but you have to know that the meaning is vocabulary meaning, not the context meaning. So you have to come with the context, maybe from your teacher and your supervisor. That's maybe answer from me. Thank you very much. Maybe Prof. Salah want
Thank
to
you, Prof.
something.
Thank you so much. Yes. That's Prof. Okay, so we are still waiting for the other question. I remember about the immersive learning method, Prof. Salah, and also if we try to connect between the emancipatory learning, I mean, both model of learnings is provides what is it? I mean, provide the encouragement of the student but emancipatory is focused on the critical thinking, to build critical thinking. And so between both models, emancipatory and also immersive learning, this focus on the engagement of student, which one, I mean, is suitable or better?
I think they're complementary, and I think that what is immersive? It means experiential. This is what I understand by immersive. It is experiential, and in that sense, experiencing knowledge firsthand is exactly that. Is to be immersed into the material, the actual, uh, knowledge material that is provided to the students. And for example, also by going into first-hand experience by visiting, for example, sites, going traveling, having students, for example, have first-hand information about you know, uh, the example that Professor Zawawi is talking about, learning Arabic. It has to be, I think, in an immersed context. The best language learning experience is to learning in the context, which is in an Arabic environment, for example, for the example of Arabic, or for any other language for that matter. So I think all boils down to the notion of experience, and I think that emancipatory model and the immersive model, I think they're very much similar. Maybe the immersive dimension is subsumed under the emancipatory one, I believe, because what I have explained and shown actually mentions the immersive dimension as one component among others. And that's why I believe that there is absolutely no contradiction on the contrary. It's we're talking about one and the same thing here. Thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Yes. So at we have other many information and meaningful insight from our keynote speakers. So before our closing the session, maybe the last question. Is there any question more? Was enough? Okay, so these topics, so intersect and advocating for a human-centered, critically aware, and culturally grounded approach to education in the age of AI, where technology serves the learner, not replace their thinking. They call for emancipated learning environments that blend innovation, ethics, and autonomy, particularly in language instruction and broader educational reform. And and the last session is, we need a close statement, maybe 1 minute from each keynote speaker, from Salah, Basalamah, Professor. A close statement from our discussion today.
Yes. Well, just one thing to say, and I hope this is not taken as a critique of the setting that we have here, but I strongly believe that despite the let's say the financial burdens that in-person conferences may incur, or some institutions, or I think it remains the best the best setting. We're talking about immersive education. We're talking about experiential education. The same thing goes for conferences. So despite the fact that conferences made online may be cheaper to organize, it remains very limited. I see that, for example, the participants, the present audience, uh, is very silent. This just shows how, the fact that the lack of connection, the lack of immersion, the lack of experience of, a direct interpersonal experience is lacking, and showing how, poor communication becomes, when we are just doing this on screen. So I hope you're not taking this personally, but I really want to make sure that we are consistent when we speak about education, as an experiential, immersive, setting, that we actually become, consistent, even in conferences. It's not only in the classroom. Conference is a kind of classroom, and without a real interpersonal interaction, I think we're losing a lot. And well, it's just kind of return, on our own situation, to show that, you know. I would definitely, encourage more consistency there if we're talking about experiential and immersive education. Thank you very much for having me today at this conference. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Naim, for this uh, kind invitation to participate as a keynote speaker to your conference. And I hope we keep the contact and the collaboration. Thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Zawawi, for your very interesting insights as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. And the last closing statement from Prof. Zawawi.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Naim, for your passion on the presentation and the conference. Okay, we are educators, so our core business is educate people to be a good human being. So we have Islam, so we educate people with the Islam, and to be a Muslim, to be a ibadillah, to be a Khalifa. So anyways, but I have to mention here, our student is not just like us a few years back, because they have a lot of things. They have AI, they have computer, they have everything. That's why we have to learn their potential, personalized profiling their learning ability, for example, to make sure that our education, our learning and teaching process is become successful. That's why the educators don't just focusing on your pedagogy, but be focused on your student, because the student now is the target for you to develop, and not to develop yourself, but develop your student to be a future generation that will be successful in their life. So that's all for me, and thank you very much, Dr. Naim, for invite me in this program, and thank you very much. Hope it will be a good discussion. And ولذلك نختتم أو أريد أن أخلص أو أنهي كلامي بكلمة جيدة أو بكلمة مباركة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan, Prof. Next, we would like to present certificate of appreciation to our distinguished keynote speakers for their meaningful presentation and deep insight for the participant. And thank you for your participation and your contribution. May this knowledge be a blessing for you and for all us. Okay. Yeah, this certificate we will send to. We are very honored and like. Okay, and the second certificate.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Prof. And the second certificate, okay, for change. Sudah.
Okay, thank you very
Prof.
much,
Zawawi, yeah.
Doctor. Syukran
You're
jazilan.
welcome, Prof.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much also to all participants. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah. Nastafid insyaAllah istifadan kathiran. We have gained a lot of new information and insight related to the topic, new information, the important issue related to the topics presented by our speakers today. And so, of course, we have the next agenda. This is the parallel session of paper presentation. So, for your information, we have around 50 papers will be presented from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Just in six parallel room, inshallah. So in this 50 papers includes from other international countries, international authors from Malaysia, from Iraq, from Philippines, Vietnam, from Brunei, and also from Turkey, and also other papers from Indonesian universities. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Allah bless you and your family and all of you. So, inshallah, let me close this session, our session, by saying Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So I give back the agenda to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad Naim Madjid. And we are now entering a break session. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings our keynote and discussion session to a close. We would like to thank all the attendees for their participation. And before closing, kindly be informed that our panel session of papers presentation will be start on 1:30 p.m. Jakarta's time. And we strongly hope your participation virtually to this session to make this even more festive and meaningful. I am the master of ceremony. Would like to say goodbye, but before we close this agenda, let us take a picture together.
Okay, please turn on the camera or the participant. Maybe
Please
can
turn
take
on
picture together.
the camera. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I am the master of ceremony. Would like to say goodbye. I apologize for any mistakes and thank you. Let's close this event by reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. See you in the next agenda. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Barakallahu fiikum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.